A sponsored project is being awarded. As a principal investigator, what do you need to know? This presentation is designed for principal investigators, co-investigators, and any researchers or staff that desire to understand what happens when a new sponsored award is received. This presentation covers some of the important aspects to know when you're the principal investigator and responsible for managing a sponsored project. The majority of notification of new awards are received electronically via email. SRS has a generic email, awards@tamu.edu, on file with most sponsors, or the information is included in the proposal submission. The SRS Award and Account Setup and Expediting Team, known simply as ASSET, monitors this email box for new awards and retrieves them for initial project setup. Occasionally, an award notice may be sent directly to the principal investigator from the sponsor. As a researcher, if you receive a notice of award, immediately forward the notification to the awards@tamu.edu email. Not doing so may result in the delay of setting up the award, as SRS may not be aware of the new award if not received by the asset group. Asset determines if the award can be set up or needs to be routed to a contract negotiator for review. If Asset determines the award should be routed to contract negotiation for review, the SRS negotiator is sent a task to review the agreement. Throughout the negotiation process, the negotiator will be documenting the status of the negotiation in Maestro. As a PI, you can view the negotiation status in the Maestro Researcher portal. The negotiator reviews and negotiates the terms and conditions of agreement or modifications to ensure compliance with applicable Texas A&M system policy, member rules and guidelines, and federal and state regulations. Remember, don't sign the agreement. There's a delegation for signature authority for all agreements and contracts. Individuals not specifically delegated to sign specific types of agreements are not authorized to sign on behalf of any Texas A&M system member. There are certain tasks the PI must do before the project setup can be completed. The PI will receive a task through Maestro. Reporting codes are used for system member reporting purposes. When the award is received, a reporting codes task will be assigned to the PI to identify the correct codes for the project. These codes must be entered to complete the project setup. Compliance items. The PI will check yes or no. Financial conflict of interest. The PI will verify that the list of investigators has not changed since the proposal was submitted. Updates can be made within Maestro. Once an award has been accepted by SRS on behalf of the system member, Asset sets up an account in Famous and links the financial account and the proposal record to the project record in Maestro. Proposals are linked to the project record to maintain a consistent record of the statement of work and researchers involved in the project. Funds are loaded to the Famous financial account, and spending restrictions, if applicable, are noted on the project record in Maestro. There are items that will delay the project setup. The proposal must be routed and approved by all parties. The 3 PI tasks from the previous slide must be completed. For financial conflict of interest, all individuals will need to complete their annual disclosure in either Huron or Maestro, depending on the system member, and be current on their FCOI training in TrainTrack. Any identified compliance items must be updated in Maestro by compliance officials with one of the following statuses: approved, approval not needed, modified approval, or delayed onset. Should any of these items need to be addressed, Asset will reach out to the PI. The Sponsored Project Summary, known as SPS, is a document summarizing the details of the award action, such as award amount, period of performance, deliverables. This is generated by Maestro based on the information entered by Asset. Upon completion of the project setup, Asset notifies the project administrator that the setup is complete. The project administrator will then complete a quality check of the project setup before routing the SPS report. The routing path typically includes the PI, co-PIs, department head, business administrator, and system member administration, depending on the system member. These individuals will receive the SPS via email. The PI should familiarize themselves with the Sponsored Project Summary and the specific terms and conditions of their award. It's important to note that even grants have deliverables. These deliverables are part of the award terms and conditions, and by accepting the award and expending funds, it is a requirement to submit all deliverables in the required time frame specified by the award. Deliverables typically consist of the following items, but can include others. Technical deliverables, interim and final reports. The PI is responsible for preparing and submitting these reports. Invention reports. The PI will provide information. Property reports. These are prepared and submitted by SRS. Financial deliverables, interim and final financial reports. These are prepared and submitted by SRS. Note, failure to submit reports on time can result in agencies withholding funds from the PI and in some cases from the institution. If the proposal included collaborators from other institutions who will receive their funding through a TAMUS member, then an SRS negotiator will obtain information from the principal investigator in order to draft the sub-award agreement. Important items are dates of performance, scope of work, budget, and any special terms and conditions, as well as the terms and conditions from the prime award that need to be flowed down to the subrecipient. There are federal requirements for performing risk assessments and monitoring of subawards. SRS staff will perform these requirements. Subrecipient expenditures will need to be approved by the principal investigators before they can be processed for payment. Once the award is set up, the project administration team is responsible for monitoring sponsored project accounts. The project administration team also provides expenditure monitoring to ensure allowability and compliance with federal regulations, sponsor-specific requirements, state and university system policies and procedures. Your project administrator will work with you throughout the life of the award. The project administrator will rebudget the funds between budget categories based on requests from the PI. The project administrator will monitor the spending rate. This is especially important as the project nears its end date, as all expenses need to be charged prior to the project end date. The federal government and their regulations for grants and cooperative agreements, known as uniform guidance, state that costs must meet certain criteria in order to be allowable under federal awards. These factors are allowability, allocability, reasonableness, and consistency. When reviewing a cost for allowability, the following items must be considered. Is it necessary and reasonable for the performance of the federal award? And is it allocable under these principles? Will this item be specifically benefit this project? Would any prudent person agree with charging this item to the project? Does it conform to any limitations or exclusions set forth in these principles or in the federal award terms and conditions? Your SRS project administrator will review costs for allowability. Generally, PIs are eager to have their sponsored project set up so that they can place payroll on the project. The PI should discuss with their department payroll contact the need for placing their research team on a sponsored project. Departmental payroll contacts or processors gather information from principal investigators regarding support for employees. Along with the HR department, payroll processors request the hiring of new employees. Payroll processors enter costing allocations in Workday. They will enter the time periods by semester or by performance dates. All SRS accounts require end dates for costing allocations. Processors should check account end dates to ensure that the costing allocation dates do not extend beyond the project end dates. Departmental responsibilities. Departments are responsible for entering tuition payments for graduate assistants in the tuition waivers and payments system. Payroll and tuition sources should match for sponsored projects. Tuition payments may need to be prorated according to an account end dates. Departments assist with tracking cost-sharing requirements for sponsored projects. Annual amounts should be entered or checked at the start of each fiscal year or when accounts are established. SRS can provide cost-sharing reports to departments. Departments provide payroll and expenditure reports to PIs. Project purchases using AggieBuy. AggieBuy is a web-based e-commerce system developed by Texas A&M in partnership with Jagger. Customers may browse and shop from numerous online catalogs. Invoices and payment requests are initiated and created within AggieBuy, which is fully integrated with Famous. SRS only reviews high-risk invoices and requisitions in AggieBuy. This is identified by the object code associated with the expense. If the expense is not identified as high risk, SRS will not be included in the routing path, or will it be reviewed for allowability by any group before it posts to the project. Some of the high-risk subcodes include tuition, equipment, participant cost, professional services, subawards, and various rentals. Traveling on a sponsored project. The Texas A&M University System has contracted with Inverse, known as Chrome River, to provide a new travel and expense management application that will replace Concur. This will be implemented across the A&M system from January to May 2025. Inverse will allow organizations to book travel and expenses from bookings to reimbursement. This will allow TAMIS members to better manage the travel and reimbursement accounting process. For managers, department head, and travel approvers, the system will automatically route employee requests via email notification, which will allow for online approval from the pre-trip to post-trip reimbursement cycle. Your department administrator can guide you through the process of booking travel through Inverse Expense. As a researcher, if you have any questions regarding your sponsored project, SRS encourages you to contact your SRS project administrator. SRS makes it easy to determine who is the SRS contact for your department and your project. Go to the SRS website at https://srs.tamu.edu. Select the My Contact tab. This will open up a page that has a search by department field. Enter your department name. This will bring up the name and contact information for the following SRS contacts: proposal administrator, contract negotiator, project administrator, and sponsored billing contact. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to learn the process of receiving and managing a sponsored project.